Yeah, g'day, Bush Camping Tools here. Well, what I want to talk about is different kinds of fire lighting material that you can find in the northern hemisphere away from the tropics. Okay, let's start with these funny things here that look almost like these rocks which are here. And this is the upper surface of a bracket fungus. So these are bracket fungi, plural of fungus, and you can find these things growing anywhere from the base, very close to the base of the tree, to basically anywhere up and down the tree, the main trunk, and largish branches of a dying tree. And I say a dying tree because these things are parasitic, so the fungus is actually living inside the tree, and this is the fruiting body. So this is the upper surface of some old ones. Let's have a look at the lower surface. The lower surface can look like this and be quite brown, a little bit powdery maybe. It's still quite hard, but this is the lower surface. It's brown because there's a lot of spores there, and these are the equivalent sort of things to seeds, which the fungus can propagate itself. The spores get blown away in the wind. They fall down like this and infect another tree. Anyway, yeah, so top surface looks a bit like this, really old. There we go. Now, sometimes, this is an old one too, but this hasn't started to put out spores yet on there. When I took that there, in there, this is a cross section. You can see there what that looks like there in cross section. Okay, so this is just to identify these things. Now, to take these off a tree, it's preferable if you can find them at least head height, or you know, so you don't have to climb the tree to get these things. They're really hard to bust off with your hands. They can be very hard to bust off with your hands, but with a strong, big, heavy stick, you can smack them off the tree like that. Or what you can do is, if you've got a strong knife, you can lever them off the tree as well too. Or you can, if the knife is heavy enough, you can whack them off the tree like that to take them down. Now, the thing about these sheep's foot bracket fungi are that they're great for carrying a fire around. Okay, so let me just see if I can show you this. Okay, so these things will smolder for a long, long time, and you can contain a fire. It's not really a fire, but a smoldering embers as such with one of these. And if you have to move around and transport a fire safely without any flames coming off the thing, so you can essentially put this in a bag or a metal cup or a plastic cup if you put it in some sand, and so it's not contacting anything, and it will smolder a long way for a long time, depending on the size that you've got. These ones would smolder for just ever. They're so big. And that's one way you can transport a fire. So let's have a look at that now. Let's check this out. Just light a corner of this. Here's my matches. Pretty crap matches, but that's what we want, some crap matches. Just going to put that underneath there. And how much has gone out? We'll just get rid of that. Let's see if we can see that. Okay. So there you go. There, that's it there. All right, let's take a closer look at this now. And that's going to smolder away like that all day. That'll smolder away like that all day. You can see that there. Let's have a better look here. Move the camera a little bit. All right, let's have a look at that there. You can see some smoke coming off that there now. And the thing about this is it catches light very, very quickly. you just really have to touch a flame to it and it will catch light. And this will smolder away like this all day like this, especially with this huge chunk like this. It'll be more than all day, you know. And this way you can take burning embers with you quite safely. So I can put my hands here near this, it's quite safe. Around that's burning internally in there, and you can rev it up just like any kind of embers by blowing on it. Let's see if we can do that and show you. There you go, like that. So that's really good. The other thing I want to talk about is this material here, and as you can see, this is a ambery colored piece of a branch, a dead branch. Obviously, this is what's generically known as fatwood. It's just from a different Pinus species. And this Pinus species happens to be Pinus sylvestris, or the Scots Pine. You can use many different pine species. The age of this branch when the tree died was, I counted at least 30 rings in here. I gave up counting after 30, so it was about 30 years old, just this particular branch. The tree was much older. Anyway, you encounter stubs, and I've made a video on this already, just coming off the main trunk of the fallen tree. You can't kick them down or break them off, not without a saw or some sort of saw to cut them off, or a knife to hack them off, or an axe or whatever. It's not possible to break them because they're just basically a natural composite. It's heavily resin impregnated wood, and this stuff is really good too for lighting fires. I'll show you that. So you just take a knife and simply scrape off some shavings. That's what we want there with that. All right, so we've got a lot of shavings here, and the shavings, the resin is very, very flammable. So we'll just, there we go, there's a few shavings there. Right, let's put these together now. Now this stuff, when you put a match to it, just burns straight away. It's extremely flammable, and if it's really heavily resin impregnated like this was a good piece of fat wood, it'll just burn like this for a long time. Whoops, camera's getting too hot. Hey. And so, you know, this amount of shavings could burn for at least a couple of minutes easily. Okay, so the other third kind of material is birch bark, and this is pretty common in the northern hemisphere outside of the tropics. When I mean the northern hemisphere, I'm not talking about around the equator. In America and also Europe and above, it's extremely flammable too. It contains flammable oils. It has this white appearance like this. The thickness is dependent upon what time of the year you take it at. That's the backside of it there. And it's very flammable too. Let's have a look at some of that burn there. I'll put a little bit there, and again with our precious match, let's see how that lights up. Okay, that's it there. Burning with a black smoke. It's full of flammable oils. And yeah, now it's caught the pine resin behind there. So if you've got both lots of things there, there's another small piece there. It won't burn as long per given weight generally as the fat wood does from the pine. It seems to burn a lot longer, but this stuff's really good for starting a fire.